Healthcare is the most advanced industries in human history. We can transplant organs, we can map the genome, we can keep the human heart beating outside of the body. But inside the walls of many hospitals and clinics, something else is happening. The system that saves lives is slowly exhausting the people responsible for delivering that care. And most of the time, no one says it out loud. So let's say it, not to attack healthcare, but to be honest about what is happening inside of it. Here's the reality that clinicians live with every day. Every day across the country, clinicians walk into environments where the margin for error is razor thin. Patients are sicker. Care is more complex. Technology is more demanding. And the expectations placed on healthcare professionals continue to grow. But the systems supporting them have not evolved at the same pace. Staffing shortages have become normalized. Workloads expand while time contracts. Documentation grows while human connection shrinks. And the people that are responsible for holding the system together are often doing so under conditions that would be considered unsustainable in almost any other profession. Clinicians adapt, they compensate, they absorb the strain. They do what healthcare professionals have always done. They keep going. The silence inside the system. But sometimes something else happens inside that culture. When conditions become unsafe, clinicians hesitate to even speak, not because they don't care, it's because they do. They care about their patients, they care about their colleagues, they care about their profession. But many have learned that raising concerns can carry consequences. Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes it's very direct. Sometimes it's career ending. So problems are worked around instead of being addressed. Risk is absorbed by individuals instead of corrected by systems. And the people closest to the patient are often the least empowered to influence the conditions that are shaping it. That silence is not a character flaw in clinicians. It is a structural flaw in the system. So, what the public doesn't see, most patients never see this side of healthcare. They see extraordinary clinicians doing extraordinary work. And that is true. Healthcare professionals perform acts of skill, compassion, and endurance every single day. But what the public rarely sees is the strain behind that performance, the double shifts, the moral distress when systems fail patients, the moment when a clinician walks to their car after a shift and wonders how long they can keep doing this. The exhaustion is real. But the deeper issue is not exhaustion. It is moral injury. The experience of knowing the right thing to do for a patient, but being constrained by the system around you. The system is under pressure too. This is not simply a story of clinicians versus healthcare organizations. Healthcare systems themselves are under enormous pressure. Regulatory complexities, financial strain, and rising patient acuity. Workforce shortages across nearly every single discipline. Healthcare leaders are navigating enormous structural challenges. But when strain builds across a system, the pressure often lands on the front line. And over time, that pressure becomes normalized until people begin to believe that operating under constant strain is simply the cost of working in healthcare. It is not, and it should not be. So, why this matters? When clinicians operate in environments where they feel supported or unsupported, unheard or unsafe to raise concerns, two things happen. First, the workforce erodes. Talented professionals leave the field. Experience disappears. Institutional language and knowledge vanishes. Second, patient risk increases. Healthcare safety is not built on only technology or protocols. It is built on people, alert people, supported people, professionals who feel safe enough to speak when something isn't right. Without that, safety weakens. So here's the truth we need to acknowledge. Healthcare does not have a talent problem. It has a protection problem. The clinicians entering this profession are intelligent, compassionate, and resilient. But resilience alone cannot carry a system indefinitely. Resilience without structural support eventually becomes attrition. And attrition eventually becomes instability. So here's the moment that we are all in. Right now, healthcare stands at an inflection point. The workforce is strained. Public trust is fragile. And the demands on clinicians are not decreasing. The question is not whether the system will adapt. The question is how. Will we continue asking individuals to absorb systemic strain? Or will we begin designing systems that protect the professionals expected to carry them? So, why the NSFA exists? This is exactly why the Nursing Special Forces Association was created. Not to criticize healthcare, not to divide clinicians and leaders, but to address the structural gap that has exited for too long. The gap between what clinicians are asked to endure and the protection systems available to support them. Because protecting clinicians is not about comfort, it's about stability. And stability is the foundation of safe care. So here's the truth that must be said. Healthcare workers are not expendable resources inside a system. They are the system. And if the people responsible for delivering care are not protected, no amount of policy, technology, or innovation will make healthcare safe. That is the problem healthcare must confront. And that is the problem we are determined to solve.